Cancer and dementia. Today's star is the tomato, ranked among the top 10 superfoods by Time magazine, a true miracle food. Tomatoes are rich in nutrients like vitamin C, potassium, and dietary fiber. They're lycopene, an antioxidant. There's even a fun saying that goes, when tomatoes ripen red, doctors turn pale, implying that eating tomatoes keeps you healthy enough to stay away from doctors. Did you know that even with health-boosting tomatoes, there are foods that can harm your health when eaten together? So, let's find out together. We'll look at the 3 worst foods to eat with tomatoes that could negatively impact, and the 3 best foods to pair with tomatoes. First off, the absolute worst combination with tomatoes is sugar. Are you surprised? On hot summer days, it's not uncommon to sprinkle a generous amount of sugar on tomatoes. Add some ice, and enjoy them sweetly, or even pickle them in sugar. But let me tell you, sugar and tomatoes are a terrible match. This is because sugar destroys the nutritional value of tomatoes. Even if you're eating them for health, sprinkling sugar on top negates all benefits. When we eat, the body uses vitamin B to break down sugar. So when you sprinkle sugar on tomatoes, it uses up the vitamin B in the tomatoes, reducing the amount that gets absorbed by our body. Moreover, the intake of sugar raises blood sugar levels, which is an even bigger problem. We all know sugar is bad for our health, right? Eat. Of course, having tomatoes sprinkled with a bit of sugar once in a while isn't a problem. However, our diet isn't about just one food item, it's about the bigger picture. The issue arises when we consume refined carbohydrates and sugar-raising meals regularly and then top it off with sugary foods for dessert. According to data analyzed by the FDA regarding our national sugar intake, we're already exceeding the recommended amounts in our regular meals. And the habit of having sweet desserts is causing our yearly sugar consumption to seriously spike. Frequently consuming foods loaded with sugar can actually shrink your brain, especially the hippocampus, which is the center of memory. Guess what happens when your brain shrinks? Since the hippocampus is crucially related to brain functions such as reasoning, planning, judgment, and memory, this definitely increases the risk of dementia. And beyond type 2 diabetes, it can even raise the risk of cancer. For the sake of your health, it's crucial to cut down on sugar intake starting today. So, how should we enjoy tomatoes? The first best food combination I recommend with tomatoes is, surprisingly, salt. Sounds a bit strange, doesn't it? You might be thinking, sugar and salt, both are bad for health and should be reduced. Of course, consuming them in large amounts is not really good, but pairing tomatoes with a little salt is beneficial, especially since tomatoes are very rich in vitamin C, which is essential for collagen production and fighting cancer. Not only does it protect your health, but it also keeps your skin healthy and youthful. However, the issue is that the vitamin C in tomatoes easily oxidizes when it comes into contact with oxygen in the air. Sprinkling salt on the cut surface of tomatoes creates a thin barrier that helps prevent the oxidation of vitamin C. Still worried about sodium and blood pressure? Tomatoes are very rich in potassium, which lowers blood pressure and reduces the risk of cardiovascular diseases. When you sprinkle salt on tomatoes, it balances out the potassium and sodium, leading to a positive effect on cell and energy metabolism. Furthermore, the salt sprinkled on tomatoes is expelled from the body through the diuretic action of potassium. Doesn't significantly increase blood pressure or cause other side effects. Feel free to enjoy it without worry. Secondly, the absolute no-go when it comes to pairing with tomatoes is spinach. You might think it's beneficial to eat foods rich in vitamin C, like tomatoes, with iron-rich spinach, especially if you have anemia or diabetes. And you're right. However, for those with weak kidneys, This combination is particularly harmful. The issue lies with oxalates. Tomatoes, which can accumulate calcium in the body, are rich in oxalates. And when it comes to oxalates, spinach is perhaps the most notorious source. Even if you're not familiar with the name, you probably know that spinach should always be blanched in boiling water before eating. When oxalates bind with calcium in the blood, they form small, sharp crystals that accumulate in the body and can lead to stones. This can cause muscle pain, reduced muscle strength, and even lead to kidney stones and cancer. Blanching or boiling can effectively remove oxalates. So those with weak kidneys should make sure to cook spinach and tomatoes this way. Pay attention here. There's an even bigger reason not to mix tomatoes and spinach. Iron in spinach can interfere with the absorption of lycopene from tomatoes. The reason tomatoes are hailed as a superfood is precisely because of this lycopene content. Lycopene is a miraculous ingredient that acts as a powerful antioxidant, reducing oxidative stress and inflammation in the body and preventing cancer. Research has shown that lycopene has incredible effects in preventing various cancers, including lung, prostate, breast, and colon cancer. It's also great for vascular health, offering protection against arteriosclerosis and cardiovascular diseases. However, according to research from an American medical team, consuming tomatoes with spinach can cut the absorption rate of this miraculous ingredient, lycopene, by half. So, from now on, it's best to avoid eating tomatoes and spinach together. Instead of spinach, the second best food combination I recommend with tomatoes is the king of proteins, meat. In fact, tomatoes pair wonderfully with all proteins, including eggs, meat, and tofu, while tomatoes are packed with vitamins, beta-carotene, lycopene, and minerals. There's just one thing they lack: the protein. Pairing them with high-quality proteins perfectly complements their nutritional profile. Among these, meat, in particular, is highly recommended. Hold on a moment. Are there any of you who believe consuming meat is bad for your health? Not at all. As you age, it's essential to include meat in your diet. The main reason is protein. Protein is a crucial component of our body, forming cells, muscles, enzymes, and hormones. A lack of protein intake can lead to harming your dental health by receding gums or causing hair loss. And an inability to produce enough immune cells or antibodies to fight diseases. Of course, beans and tofu are excellent sources of protein, but plant-based proteins often lack essential amino acids or have them in smaller quantities. Animal proteins like meat are much more easily absorbed by the body than plant-based proteins, making them increasingly important as digestion weakens with age. Moreover, protein affects not just the muscles in our body but also the muscles in our mind. Tryptophan found in meat is a precursor to serotonin, known as the happiness hormone, making it excellent for depression and mental health. Especially, the vitamin B found in pork activates brain functions, preventing dementia. But pay attention here, there's one issue with consuming such beneficial meat. Our body's fluids are alkaline, while meat is acidic. This is where our star, the tomato, comes into play. Tomatoes, being a representative alkaline food, when eaten with acidic meat, greatly aid in protein digestion and reduce stomach stress, making them a perfect match. Plus, the rich fiber content in tomatoes helps maintain a regular digestive system and prevents constipation, ensuring gastrointestinal health. The third worst tomato-based food for your health is tomato ketchup. Ketchup is the most famous sauce, often paired with fries, or processed foods. While these foods are problematic in themselves, ketchup adds to the issue. A single tablespoon of ketchup contains about 4 grams of sugar, which is more than what's found in many chocolate snacks. But that's not all. A closer look at the nutritional content of ketchup reveals it's full of high fructose corn syrup, salt, synthetic colorants, and spices, including numerous sweeteners and food additives. Some people believe that ketchup, containing tomatoes, is healthier compared to other sauces. However, the tomatoes in ketchup, due to processing in various additives, have already had their nutrients destroyed. So, the third and ultimate pairing I recommend with tomatoes is definitely olive oil. Here's an interesting tip. Tomatoes actually offer more health benefits when cooked rather than eaten raw. This is because heating tomatoes breaks down their cell walls, allowing the antioxidant lycopene to dissolve more easily. Now, here's the kicker. You can dramatically increase the absorption of lycopene by up to 9 times simply by cooking tomatoes in olive oil. Lycopene loves fat because it's fat-soluble, meaning it's absorbed much better with fats. And olive oil, rich in omega-3s, is the perfect companion. Olive oil's oleic acid is a good fat that helps lower bad LDL cholesterol and protect your heart. It also helps increase the good HDL cholesterol, keeping your heart and blood vessels healthy. Plus, the polyphenols in olive oil create a powerful synergy with tomatoes' lycopene, turning this combo into a top-notch cancer fighter. Tomatoes are special because the way you cook them changes their nutritional value. Eat tomatoes raw for vitamin C, or cook them to get even more lycopene benefits. So, whether you're adding fresh tomatoes to a salad with some olive oil or cooking them, always use olive oil to get the most benefits. So far, we've explored 3 foods that are the worst to pair with tomatoes, and 3 that are the best. Then it's time to summarize. Skip the sugar with tomatoes, and go for a sprinkle of salt instead. Instead of pairing them with oxalate-rich spinach, opt for protein-packed meats, and ditch the tomato ketchup in favor of cooking with olive oil. How does that sound? I hope by choosing the right companions for the nutritious tomato and preparing them well, you'll safeguard your health. Thank you so much for having fun with me. If you found today's guide helpful, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And please, do share this video with your loved ones. I'll always be here praying for your health and happiness. Thank you. Did you know that eating this with bananas can harm your health? Even though bananas are a superfood for your health, there are foods that go well with them and others that don't. To protect your health and immunity, I will tell you about the 3 worst food combinations with bananas and the 3 best. Hello. Welcome to Dr. John's channel. Are there still people who haven't registered yet? Please register and hit the like button now. Also, please share with your loved ones and highly recommended Dr. John to them. I will continue to provide only the best health information from now on. First, the worst combination of food with bananas is milk. Are you surprised? Because bananas are filling, some people have them as a meal replacement on an empty stomach in the morning, or blend them with milk to make banana milkshakes. However, bananas and milk, which might seem like a perfect match, are not a good combination for health. Wait, are there still people who think that the sugar in bananas is bad for health? Let me clarify this for you. Bananas are rich in dietary fiber that helps balance blood sugar, and they are also packed with minerals and vitamins that fight against diseases. Especially, depending on the ripening process, bananas have different health benefits, making them amazing fruits. Unripe green bananas have resistant starches that are 20 times higher than ripe yellow bananas. They have a very low glycemic index, making them excellent for blood sugar management. Green bananas are full of prebiotics that act as food for probiotics in the gut, promoting gut health. On the other hand, as bananas ripen and turn yellow, they become sweeter and their sugar content increases. Especially, they become rich in antioxidants, vitamin B, and vitamin C. Finally, as they become overripe and develop brown spots, they are called sugar spots, known as antioxidants that fight against health-harming cells. While the vitamins and minerals in yellow bananas decrease, these brown spots are filled with health protection properties that strengthen the power of white blood cells. So, green bananas are great for diabetes prevention and dieting due to their low glycemic index. Yellow bananas are packed with vitamins and antioxidants. And finally, brown bananas are the best anti-disease foods. However, are you worried that the natural sugars in bananas might raise your blood sugar? Here's the solution. When you consume them together, milk lowers blood sugar because lactose in milk lowers it, making it a great combination. Moreover, bananas are rich in magnesium, and surprisingly, when you consume magnesium from bananas with milk, it helps the calcium in milk be fully absorbed into our bodies. But pay attention here, all these benefits only apply to those with strong stomachs. As we age, our stomachs and intestines weaken, and many experience reflux, where food regurgitates. Especially, you might have felt discomfort as if the banana was stuck after eating it for satiety. There's a reason for this. The rich dietary fiber in bananas is insoluble and doesn't dissolve well, so it stays in the stomach for a long time. If you consume milk with it, a bigger problem arises. The organic acids and sugars in bananas combine with the abundant calcium and protein in milk, forming lumps, making digestion even slower. In this process, over-fermentation occurs in the stomach, putting a significant strain on the stomach and intestines, causing fatigue and lethargy. Eventually, it can lead to chronic conditions like gastritis and reflux esophagitis. So, never consume bananas and milk together. Instead, opt for food combinations that are easier to digest. Then, what should you eat with bananas? The first food I recommend to pair with bananas is oatmeal. Instead of having bananas and milk on an empty stomach in the morning, you can have oatmeal or oatmeal porridge together with bananas. Oatmeal's dietary fiber is much better for gut health, making it the perfect match. Wait, are there some of you who are puzzled, thinking, bananas have a lot of dietary fiber, so why is it good to eat them with oatmeal? Yes, both bananas and oats are rich in dietary fiber, but they are completely different types. A banana contains about 3 grams of fiber, and most of it is insoluble fiber, which mainly helps increase the volume and weight of stools. That's why eating bananas might actually lead to constipation. So, for gut health, you should consume soluble fiber, which absorbs water well. That's where oatmeal and oats come in. Oats contain over 50% soluble fiber, so when you eat them with bananas, you can perfectly balance your fiber intake. Moreover, the fiber pectin in bananas surprisingly helps lower cholesterol levels in the blood vessels. It detoxifies the body and eliminates heavy metals. Here's a tip. For this detoxifying effect, you should consume unripe green bananas, along with the resistant starch found in green bananas. You'll also get the effects of natural insulin and beta-glucan in oats, which help regulate blood sugar levels. Secondly, the worst combination of food with bananas is sweet potatoes, despite being regarded as excellent meal replacements and diet foods. Bananas and sweet potatoes surprisingly don't go well together. While excessive dietary fiber can indeed strain digestion, there's a more serious issue at hand. That's potassium. Some might wonder, isn't potassium a beneficial mineral for health? Yes, potassium is an essential mineral for our bodies. It's particularly crucial for cell health and regulates the functions of the heart and muscles, providing energy to our bodies. Additionally, Potassium helps flush sodium out of our bodies, thereby stabilizing blood pressure and preventing cardiovascular diseases like hypertension, hyperlipidemia, and atherosclerosis. However, pay attention here. This beneficial potassium can pose a significant burden for those with poor kidney function. If potassium isn't adequately excreted from the kidneys, it can weaken muscles and even lead to irregular heartbeats. The issue lies in the fact that both bananas and sweet potatoes are rich in potassium. Consuming them together can lead to excessive potassium intake, increasing the risk of hyperkalemia. So, rather than consuming them together, it's better to have them separately, to ensure you benefit from each food's nutritional properties without risking potassium overload. Secondly, the best food to pair with bananas is nuts. Nowadays, many people suffer from insomnia and stress, right? A calm mind leads to a calm body, so stress relief and sound sleep are crucial for health. Consuming bananas with nuts is the perfect solution. Nuts contain beneficial unsaturated fatty acids and omega-3. But most importantly, they're rich in tryptophan. This tryptophan surprisingly converts into the happiness hormone serotonin in the brain. But pay attention here. For tryptophan to convert into the happiness hormone, it requires vitamin B6. Today's start, the banana, is rich in vitamin B6. Therefore, when you consume nuts and bananas together, they perfectly alleviate depression and insomnia. Additionally, bananas' magnesium has muscle relaxation benefits. So having a banana in the evening can further improve sleep quality. Moreover, bananas' potassium helps maintain stable heartbeats and balances the body's fluid levels, which is beneficial for keeping the metabolism balanced and less prone to stress. Now, as the last, third worst combination of food with bananas, we have cabbage. Many people diligently consume bananas and cabbage as the best anti-disease food combination, right? That's correct. As mentioned earlier, when bananas become overripe, they develop brown spots, known as sugar spots. In this state, the sugar content increases. But most importantly, it's when the polyphenol levels, which boost immunity, are at their highest. Thus, fully ripe bananas are referred to as the guardians of anti-disease. According to Japan National Cancer Research Institutes, spotted bananas have a remarkable effect on creating TNF immune cells. They enhance white blood cell function by 8 times more than unripe green bananas. At this point, when you consume cabbage, known as the epitome of green vegetables due to its high content of chlorophyll and vitamin U, along with bananas, it synergistically enhances health-protecting effects. However, unfortunately, when you consume cabbage and bananas together, the body consumes a large amount of vitamin B6, which can lead to deficiency symptoms. Should you give up the anti-disease benefits and worry while consuming them? No, there's a miraculous solution. By consuming cabbage and bananas along with just one other food, everything is resolved. Then, the last, third recommendation for the best food to pair with bananas is eggs. Eggs are packed with numerous nutritional benefits, especially being rich in vitamin B6. When consumed with bananas and cabbage, eggs can prevent any loss of nutrients and only provide synergistic effects. Moreover, this vitamin B6, nicknamed the brain vitamin, plays a crucial role in supplying glucose, the brain's energy source. Furthermore, when you consume eggs, considered one of the most nutritious whole foods on earth, along with bananas, it perfectly fills in any protein and nutrient gaps. Wait, if you consume only bananas as a meal replacement for breakfast, it might strain those with weak kidneys due to the magnesium content, worsening low blood pressure. But when consumed with eggs, it balances out the perfect nutritional equilibrium, allowing you to recharge energy and restore vitality without any worries and quickly. So far, we've looked at the 3 worst combinations and 3 best foods to pair with bananas. Let's summarize them together. First, instead of consuming bananas with milk, have them with oats or oatmeal. Secondly, since bananas are high in potassium, avoid pairing them with sweet potatoes and opt for nuts instead. Lastly, remember that bananas go well not only with cabbage but also with eggs. How does that sound? By taking care to pair bananas with foods that complement them well, you can protect your health and boost immune system. Thank you so much for spending time with me. If you found today's video helpful, please subscribe and like it. Also, don't forget to share it with your loved ones and friends. I'll always keep you in my prayers for your health and happiness. Thanks you. Did you know that having coffee with certain things can lead to cancer and dementia? Even your daily coffee has its best and worst food matches. For cancer and dementia prevention, I'll share with you the 3 worst foods to have with coffee, and the 3 best foods that go perfectly with it. The coffee we enjoy 2-3 times a day is packed with benefits. Not just for diabetes and dementia prevention, but also for fighting cancer and cardiovascular diseases. Plus, the stimulating effect of caffeine adds vitality and energy to our daily life. The delightful and rich aroma of coffee boosts dopamine production, enhancing mood and even helping with depression. But did you know? Even coffee, as beneficial as it is, can be harmful when paired with certain foods. So, let's dive into the 3 worst food pairings with coffee for cancer and dementia prevention, and the 3 best pairings that can help extend our lives healthily. First off, the worst choice to pair with your coffee is, surprisingly, sweet coffee drinks like vanilla lattes. Many of you might grab one of these sweetened coffee drinks after a meal, right? When you look at what's in them, beyond the coffee, you find a huge amount of sugar, powdered creamers, and other synthetic additives. Putting aside the freshness of the coffee granules, the excessive amount of sugar is the biggest issue. You already know sugar isn't good for you. But why are sweet coffee drinks particularly bad for your health? It's mainly because you have them after eating. Imagine this: you've already had your fill of carbs and sugar from your meal, raising your blood sugar, and then you top it off with a sugar-packed coffee drink. Exactly, it spikes your insulin resistance, and leaves extra sugar floating in your bloodstream. This leftover blood sugar acts as glycotoxins, causing inflammation in your vessels, which can lead to cancer. If it goes to the liver, it causes fatty liver disease. If it reaches the brain, it can shrink the hippocampus, responsible for memory, reducing brain size and leading to dementia. Moreover, increasing insulin resistance is a direct path to diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, and other metabolic syndromes. And there's more. The creamy powder that adds a rich flavor is another big issue, because its fat content easily turns into visceral fat in your body, making sweet coffee drinks after meals a terrible habit for your waistline and cholesterol levels. So, what kind of coffee should you drink? The answer is filtered or brewed, Americano and espresso, made from freshly roasted beans without any added sugar. By choosing this kind of coffee, you avoid the sugar and calories that are the downsides of sweet coffee drinks. Keeping only the benefits of coffee, drinking 2-3 cups of good coffee a day, is really good for your health. And for those who sometimes add syrup to their coffee, remember that liquid fructose or corn syrup, often called syrup, is even worse for your health than sugar, so you should definitely avoid it. So, what should you add to your coffee, or eat with it? There's a miraculous way to maximize the benefits of coffee and drink it like a tonic, and it involves one of the top 3 spices in the world, the cinnamon. In fact, in Mexico, adding a cinnamon stick to coffee is a traditional health and longevity secret known as café de ala. Did you know coffee is excellent for heart health? Recent studies presented at the European Society of Cardiology have shown that 3 cups of coffee a day can significantly reduce the risk of stroke and cardiovascular diseases by up to 60%. And why is that? You might wonder. It's because coffee is rich in antioxidants called polyphenols. Astonishingly, the amount of polyphenols in coffee is 3 times that of green tea, and 9 times that of black tea. These components not only strengthen the blood vessels and cleanse the blood, but also reduce inflammation levels within the vessels. Now, here's the kick. Cinnamon is also packed with these miraculous antioxidants, polyphenols. When combined, coffee and cinnamon create an incredible synergy. Interestingly, the polyphenols in cinnamon help expand the blood vessels and nourish the joints. With the colder weather, causing many to experience numbness and swelling in their hands and feet, combining coffee and cinnamon can aid in improving blood circulation. You can either stick a cinnamon stick in your coffee, or simply mix in about half a teaspoon of cinnamon powder for the perfect golden ratio. It's a great combination to try. So, the second worst match for coffee is actually medication. This includes not just supplements, but also any prescription drugs you might be taking. Are there any of you who think because coffee's caffeine speeds up metabolism, it might make your medicine work faster? Or do you take your post-meal supplements with coffee? Doing so not only renders the medicine ineffective, but can also cause serious health issues. Drinking coffee when you're tired can momentarily beat sleepiness and boost your focus, right? That's because the caffeine in coffee stimulates blood circulation, waking you up and giving you a burst of energy. While this is great on its own, it's very risky to mix this with medication. First off, supplements are full of good stuff like vitamins B, C, D, or minerals such as iron. But caffeine from coffee can block these beneficial ingredients from being absorbed in your stomach, making them useless. Moreover, mixing coffee with prescription drugs can lead to even bigger problems. Common medications like aspirin and stomach medicine when taken with coffee can increase stomach acid and cause severe irritation. This could lead to serious issues like stomach spasms, perforations, and ulcers. Also, medicine for cold and cough, which already has a stimulating effect when added to the stimulating effect of caffeine, can cause your heart to race and blood pressure to spike, leading to emergencies like arrhythmias and brain hemorrhages. Plus, if you're taking diuretics for conditions like high blood pressure, coffee's diuretic effect can overburden your kidneys. Therefore, it's crucial to avoid taking coffee with supplements and prescription drugs. If you wait 1 or 2 hours between them, you can enjoy the benefits of your medicine and coffee without any problems. At this point, the best food pairing I recommend with coffee is definitely milk. Many of you enjoy adding milk to your coffee to make lattes or cappuccinos, right? Adding milk not only softens the bitterness and acidity of coffee, making it smoother and creamier, but it also enhances its health benefits. Have you noticed you tend to visit the bathroom more often after drinking coffee? That's because of the diuretic effect of caffeine in coffee, which helps with metabolism and blood circulation, speeding up the elimination of waste from your body. While this can be good, it also poses a big problem. Caffeine can cause the calcium in your body to be